Hello, hi, and welcome to EmpathicFire. I am your reader, Jay. These are going to be general messages for the sign of Pisces in the month of 2019. The month of January 2019. Pisces, hello. How you guys doing? Hope you guys are doing well, okay? Happy New Year, guys. Well, obviously I haven't talked to you since December, so Happy New Year's. I hope you were celebrating with people that love you and that you love back, and it's a whole love fest between you, your family, and friends. And I hope that you had a good time on New Year's. Even if you were curled up on the couch with your dogs, that's also an awesome evening, right? All right, Pisces. If you're a new subscriber, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber, you kind of know the deal. I've shuffled off camera to sort of save time in the reading. We'll see that that's for nothing, right? Because I talk forever. But hopefully you appreciate that. That these messages come the way that I give them. You know, I'm led to do it this way. So hopefully you're able to appreciate it. It's basically what I'm, for some reason, compelled to tell you. Anyway, shuffled off camera, main spread there. Shuffle now for your outcome and your overall energy. Once all cards are out and they're lying face up, that's when the reading begins. You can check for the time description. Wow, I'm tongue-tied today. Interesting. Wonder what that means. Because, you know, I was talking earlier today and not much of a tongue-tied situation. Anyway, once all cards are out and they're lying face up, that's when the reading begins. The timestamp for that will be in the description box below. So you can go ahead and check down there. If you want to click it and jump ahead, I totally understand. I wouldn't even know anyway. It's there for a reason. Use it, okay? Other information down there is how to reach me and get in contact with me if you want to get a personal reading. Readings are $25, straight up, flat fee for all the readings that I do. And if you do have any questions about that, feel free to email me there at the address that's down there, and I can answer questions if you're kind of like, oh, I want to, but I don't know. You know, I'm an open book, guys. I'm not going to hide anything from you, and I'm not going to, you know, be upset if you email me your questions. Non-tarot related questions, of course. All right. I will say, though, despite being kind of mumble mouth right here or mush mouth or something, like my words are kind of falling on top of each other, your your shuffle and your meditation, quick. Like I was just in it very quickly, and all these cards came out super fast, as opposed to other signs where it was taking forever and a day. So maybe that means something, you know, maybe my mouth, you know, for you Pisces, maybe your words are jumbled and your words are a little mixed up, but your actual actions and sort of maybe things are falling into place, but you can't really communicate well or articulate something. I don't know. Maybe that means something for some of you, but if not, you've listened to this for nothing. I'm sorry. Anyway, let's get your outcome for January 2019. Pisces outcome, January 2019. Let's get it. Ooh, almost. See? Just as fast. There it is. Ooh, a twofer? Are you getting a twofer? Let's find out. And I sigh because, you know, anytime there's more than the total 8 cards, we're talking a longer time for messages. Do these go together? Yep, okay. You get a twofer. Congratulations. Overall, comes from the bottom of the deck, so you see it there. Let's go ahead and kind of shuffle everything together. Or not shuffle, but squeeze things together. Very tight. Makes the board tight. I think you're the second sign for this month to get a double in your outcome, which I used to never allow, but for some reason I said okay, and then they gave it to me, and now they've given it to me again, so here we are. Now, let's go ahead and flip the rest of your cards and see what else is going on. You've got a variety. Oh my. You're different. I mean, I don't have to tell you that. You know you're different. And it could be because I'm doing this towards the middle, almost late end of January, so things may be changing in the ethers, but this is the first reading where in the main spread, there is not a single fire card. That's interesting. That means something. So things are shifting, perhaps astrologically. Maybe things are shifting for you, or you're just not a part of that fire brigade that most people are having for their January readings, okay? All right, I'm trying to make it look... Ooh, that turned out pretty okay. Cool. All right, Pisces, let's try not to stall any longer or, dilly-dally here. Please show me Pisces in January 2019. Please show me where Pisces is in January 2019. Please show me Pisces in January 2019. Please show me. Nice, thank you. Nice and clear. That was nice. All right, Pisces, coming into January, you come in as the Three of Cups. So, sort of a feeling of what I was describing in the beginning. Like, something is happening. If we look at this card, this man is painting a portrait. And something's happening. We know he's doing that. We know he's, creating something. It's just incomplete, or it's kind of without a finalized form, building to something, okay? That's sort of indicative or a part of the traditional understanding of this card when you think of the Rider-Waite deck, where in that card, there are three people and they're having a meeting and they're sort of negotiating, right? So some of you might be having that in play here. There's like negotiations you may or may not be a part of, or you may or may not be privy to, but certainly there are negotiations going on that might affect you. Maybe the negotiations will determine whether or not you can finish whatever you're working on. In this case, they're in the picture, the other people that you might expect to see on the Three of Cups card. But in this card, obviously, they're painted figures, so how impactful they are actually on this artist and his ability to get his painting done, I don't know. But what they're telling me is this is like, that's where the separation is. And he's looking at the painting, right? So you have an eye on, or you might have an idea or clue, a hunch that negotiations are happening. People are setting up plans. People are, in some cases, deciding on your future, essentially, or your involvement in a certain project, or your involvement in a particular situation, and you kind of want to finish the job, right? I mean, you got your palette in your hand, you've got your brushes in your hand, you got your 3 cups, which we can assume might hold some liquid, some water, some paint thinner, things like that. You want to get your Bob Ross on here, but PBS is like futzing around in the background, being like, I don't know, Bob. We're going to find out if we're going to renew you, So it could be something like that. It could be a contract renewal for some of you, where you intend and desire to keep going, but other people around you are kind of like on the fence, ironing out details, things like that. A lot of job and creative sector energy here. Like I said, PBS, right? Those are jobs that I think sometimes we take for granted. At least when I was a kid, you know how they say, this program was brought to you by local blah, 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 and the such and such foundation and viewers like you. Like, when I was a kid, I didn't know what that meant. Now I'm an adult, I know what that means. Basically, we need money. If we don't continue to get money in endowments and funding, we can't produce Sesame Street. We can't produce Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. We can't produce, let's see if you guys are... Oh, what was that show called? Math 1? I used to love Math 1, and the irony is I suck at math. Maybe I didn't pay enough attention to that program. Anyway, so there was something like that, where you are not necessarily employed by this group or this foundation or this company, but you are funded by them. You're given grant money in some cases for some of you, or you could be like doing a startup and you're looking for backers, And so they're looking over your portfolio. They're looking over your proposals. But something regarding what you can put forth in the world is being evaluated. Many of you. For others, I think this is you are doing self-evaluation, or you're taking a step back, trying to sort of get away from your own perspective and look at something in your life and make not a final judgment, but certainly decide what the next best step is for you. It could be work, could be school, relationships, things like that, or your own personal development. Whatever it is, it's not weighing heavily on you because it's just a 3. The threes, in all of the cards, all of the suits are about evaluation. They are about those, take a step back, time out, like literally, possibly like how you will see like a timeout in a sports event. It's not going to last very long. So this is like an intermission, a small, relatively quick period of time where things are being decided, okay? And some of you, if not most of you, aren't directly involved in that evaluation or that negotiation. You're like out of the room. This stuff is happening behind closed doors. This stuff is happening when you're away from the company or away from the office, something like that. And you're just kind of like sitting by, twiddling your thumbs. Maybe some of you are spending your downtime or the time that you're kind of waiting to hear back about a decision. Maybe you are painting or doing something creative. Maybe you're, because I'm getting like, as much as this is evaluation, and that can be kind of an anxiety for some people, making decisions or having decisions made on their behalf, I also get a kind of a, it is what it is, it'll be what it'll be, like not fretting too much. I think that many of you, not all, many of you are kind of not getting too far ahead of yourself, not panicking or overthinking the situation. Many of you are dealing well with that energy. You're kind of like sweeping it aside. Others of you, you're like sitting in it and you're just like anxiously waiting. I just want to finish my painting. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. And like, there's nothing else on your mind. Others of you, you're like, okay, I gotta, you're keeping yourself busy, basically. Okay? Now, okay. Oh, I just noticed that. Got all reversals on the bottom. Okay. Where are we going? Powerful entities up there. Pardon me. I'm in the tail end of this cold. I had a cold last week, but this is just like that remnant stuff. Anyway. Okay, so I think that's what's going on. I mean, well, we could clear that up, please. Thank you. These are the people. Right, okay, these are the people, and this is kind of the missing. Got it. Alright, so there's people involved here on the bottom, and we've got some stuff on the top. Now, yeah, the people on the bottom, thank you. I'm like, that would make more sense. So, on the bottom, you've got the Queen of Swords in reverse. I'll show you this card upright so you can kind of become familiar with it. I'm using the English Tarot deck for you guys, which I've never used on camera before, but, you may have seen time and time here on YouTube. In reverse, so, Queen of Swords, bossy lady. She is a boss, but she is also bossy. She can, swords are about communications, thought patterns, things like that. The way we rationalize the world, the way that we communicate from whatever position we're standing in. And the Queen of Swords, this particular Queen of Swords, is very directive. Oh, directive? Gives directions. She's a very do this, do that kind of person. Can speak out of turn because of this reverse position, like as refined or as eloquent or as even keel. You might expect a person of this station to be a queen, someone who is accomplished, someone who is, like I said, a boss or a leader, someone in charge. You would expect a certain decorum from a person like this, but this person is just like, half-cocked, you know? They are not demonstrating that they're a great thinker. They might be speaking, like I said, out of turn. They might be reactionary right now reactionary. Instead of having a response, they react. What's the difference? Some of you might be asking. A response is an articulated and well thought out retort to a question or a rebuttal in a discussion or an argument, right? You listen to the other side, you gather your points, and it doesn't have to be formal like a debate class or something. It can be like kind of, off the cuff pretty quickly. But with a response, the person usually demonstrates that they have great speaking skills and listening skills. They're usually identified quickly as a critical thinker, right? When you react, you're being more emotional. You're rationalizing instead of reasoning. You are, coming from a gut place. You say things that kind of don't go through a filter, okay? And that's what this person is doing. Who they are to you, like I said, boss leaders, so they might be your boss, they might be the person in charge of the negotiations, or somehow they pull a lot of weight in the negotiations, potentially. But more than that, I think that they... They know you, but they don't know you. If this is your boss, like literally the person who signs your checks, or literally the person that, sends out those emails on, to the entire company, or sends out letters on the letterheads and stuff like that, and you see like their ugly ass signature at the bottom, like that's who that is. Like, you know them, but they don't know you. Okay? Like, they might recognize you. Hey, Jim, or hey, Tina, da-da-da. Oh, Philippe, what's going on? Hey, Andrew, nice. They might be a schmoozer in that way. They might be able to identify you by name, but they don't know you. Like, they know your name, they know your face, but they don't know what department you work in. They don't know your expertise. They don't know what projects you're working on in detail. They just have a glancing knowledge of who you are. But you know them very well, obviously. There's only one of them. Or they're in such a prominent position, you can't not know them, okay? If this isn't a person external to you, I think this is something that some of you might be struggling with from the past. There's someone in your past that was like this, that's kind of giving you pause or worry about your present situation. So maybe this is a former boss, or a teacher, a mentor, a mother figure for some of you. And it doesn't have to be a female just because it's a queen. It can be a male. It really is about the energy of the person. And they would be someone who has authority, but kind of lives like up in the ivory tower, like looking down on the other, looking down on the peons of society, and, giving the queen wave from the tower, not really engaging with the people. Ironically, says they are a member of the people. I'm one of you. Are you, though? You're like 60 feet in the air, or 60 stories up in the air. We can't even see the details of your face. All we see is that shitty little wave that you're doing. So there is a distance between you and this person. And some of you, it is a temporal distance, where this is someone, like I said, a teacher, a leader in your community, someone that you used to work for straight out of college, that they've scarred you for life, and you never want to work for someone like this again. And so they're having some effect, directly or indirectly, in what's being negotiated, what's being evaluated regarding your job, or regarding your creative projects, your involvement in something, or for those where it's not really work-related. This could be for very few of you, I'm feeling. I feel most of you, this is going to hit in work sector, if I'm honest. But for those who aren't really here for anything work-related, this could be like the ever critical, yet ever aloof, which is kind of two different things, but somebody who had a lot of opinions about your dating life or your personal life, but actually never took the time to know you or know the nooks and crannies of the situations they were casting and passing judgment on, you know? So could have been your mom, or, you know, a nosy neighbor, or you know, some aunt, or someone in your family. And I'm naming females, but again, it doesn't have to be a female. It can be an uncle, for God's sakes. And they were just like, oh, you're seeing such and such? Oh, and you know, and they're just going mile a minute with that mouth. And you're like, I haven't dated that person in like 2 months. You think I'm still dating them? Well, and then they don't even listen to what you're saying. Well, you know, he never was going to do anything good for you anyway, so blah, 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 blah. And they keep going, like, they keep hammering on this thing that you're just like, I am not even involved with him or her or whatever. You should stop talking about this. You're also making me angry, or you're, like, bumming me out, or you're giving me anxiety. They don't care. They're not recognizing. They're not picking up on the social cues of whatever you were feeling at the time, or whatever you're feeling if you are in contact with this person now. They just don't know, they don't care, they're not in tune with what you are bringing to the table, or what your value and impact or contribution to the situation is, Pisces. So, lame. I don't like that. Right next to her, you have the Queen of Cups. In reverse. Yes, here we go. Same person, different aspect. Queen of Cups reversed. I'll show you this upright. She's come up a few times, I suppose, for other people in their readings, but reversed, right? So Queen of Cups, water energy, Cancer, Pisces, Scorpio, and to give it a little bit of life, the Queen is the Queen of Swords here, related to air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, in case you're interested. But beyond this being Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces related, this is related to our emotions, right? How we feel, what we bring to the table in terms of our sympathy and empathy, and sometimes our passions and our ability to love and our ability to be open to love, things like that. And in this reverse position, I basically get misfire, mishap, miscommunication. This is, in some cases, a false energy. And I think it is mostly related back to this person. It can be someone else. Help me. Okay, here we go. If it is someone else, they're like in the shadow of Queen of Swords. They're both queens. Right? They're both equals in terms of position or station or, you know, sort of clout. They're equals, but this person, no. They're quiet, standing in the back, not saying a damn word, not speaking up, possibly taking the brunt of the situation, possibly, you know, having to eat their emotions, stuff things down. They might normally be someone who is very effusive, who is very sort of hard on their sleeve and very compassionate when it comes to, you know, whatever situation we're talking about. But that's gone. That is being eclipsed by this person's energy, if they're two different people, okay? If this is the same person, the Queen of Swords would be professing that they're actually this, Queen of Cups upright. But in that profession, in those statements, you feel, or you're able to observe, nah, bitch, you a lie. Male or female, you a lie. I care about you, and I care about this company. I care about the future of our, you know, in some cases, this could be like somebody like at your kid's school or something like that. That's been a theme also for a lot of people, children, and what's going on with the livelihood of their children. And some of you might be going to PTA meetings or meetings, town halls, school town halls or something like that. And the principal's like, we care about our kids here. And, you know, this is what they're saying. And I love kids, and I care about the future of this school, and we're going to have a great 2019, and thank you, parent. You know, that whole spiel. Up there talking a mile a minute, not really saying much of substance, but professing this tender-hearted, I am a member of the people. I am a champion for children, blah, 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 blah. And you're sitting in the audience going, you a damn lie, bro. You're a damn liar. No way. If you felt this way, you wouldn't have this stipulation in the guidebook, or this wouldn't be going on in the school, or if you felt this way, then you wouldn't have done this to my kid, or this wouldn't be going on with all the kids. Something like that. Like, you can poke holes in this person's speech. Whatever they're professing, whatever they're claiming to be, you're like, nah, son, the lies. The lies out here, okay? So, manipulative. Oh, there we go. That appeal to the emotions, the whole, I'm a member of this community, I'm a part of the people, we love each other in this company, we love each other as a part of this group, la 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 la, kumbaya, kumbaya, right? That's an emotional ploy. That is a play on people's emotions. That is a play on people's sensibilities of wanting things to be like that. But in reality, there's no receipts for that. That was not scanned at the checkout. That's a lie. So, two ways of looking at that person. Or two ways of looking at this card, excuse me. Either way, booty. Oh yes, what? So, the jig is up. Here we go. You're having a seamless reading. You in Aquarius. Something about this time in January, this middle part, I should have done the readings here. Because some of the previous readings, I was just like, what the hell's going on? But you in Aquarius, I'm like, yes, I see it. What is going on? Anyway, Seven of Swords in reverse, but upright. That's what that looks like. Now let's take a look at that image, right? Boy, oh boy, somebody's trying to get out of Dodge, right? Making a great escape. Reverse though, not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. Okay. Someone is trying to worm their way out of something. Writing checks they can't cash. Okay? What did I say here? Emotional manipulation, something like that? Did I mention falsehood? Did I mention like misleading or something like that I say? This is the result of that. This is the result of that. Someone will be found out to be the snake that they are, the deceiver that they are, the inept person that they are, and it's just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. Just a matter of time. The jig is up, man. And in a way, I kind of feel bad for the person who is running away or trying to escape, because they honestly thought they would get away with it. It's kind of like one of those things like where you watch on the news, like dumb criminals, like on your local news. A story coming out of Richmond today, or a criminal was found on camera in broad daylight, not wearing any type of disguise, trying to hold up a convenience store. He was later picked up. And the reporters, you can tell, like, the reporters are thinking in their head, what a jackass, what a numbskull, right? And that's what everybody at home who's watching the news is thinking. So it's like that. It's so obvious that this person has been a snake, has been misleading, has tried to, pass the buck, tried to shift the blame, tried to sidestep, not accusations, but certainly sidestep their accountability in this situation, right? Definitely a very heavy work thing going on here for many of you. And it's kind of like, sir, ma'am, whoever this is, you tried. You didn't try very well, or what you tried was not smart. It wasn't a whole lot of crap here on this bottom row with these reversals. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Just like, did I say misfire? I said miss something in the beginning. I don't know what it was, but it was just a miss. All of this is a miss. And the sticking point for you, Pisces, is this. None of this down here is you directly. If you are directly involved in this, again, you might be this person. Forced to the sidelines, forced to stuff down your feelings and your better judgment, forced into sort of a corner or a space where you're silent. If we're talking business, we could be talking contracts. Maybe some of you have some NDAs on top of you, or, you are legally bound to be silent. You are legally bound to not act out of certain parameters, okay? So the sticking point is that you just have to watch and wait. you factor in, but the action, the domino effect of this leads to this leads to that is involving this person and their shady ways. That's it. So grab the popcorn, turn yourself into a Michael Jackson meme, and enjoy the show as best you can, which I think you're kind of doing. Like I said, a lot of you might have a lot of idle time on your hands, or the situation, like I said, is happening behind closed doors and you're just waiting to hear back. So in the meantime, let me go ahead and pick up an old hobby with my man Bob Ross. You know, some of you might be firing up those Netflix episodes and you're just like painting your heart till your heart's content. You're just like, oh, I'm just waiting for that phone call. Let me go ahead and make a cloud over here. Oh, right, Bob, let's make mountains too. Yeah, let's do that. Like, you are literally not too stressed, but still concerned enough to be anticipating the final word. And I think that shows in what you're doing. Like, all this, if you look at it, is in your foundation. So it's rooted for you, or it's not stabilizing you. It is what's underfoot for you. It's important. If you don't have good footing when you're walking, you fall, right? So you rely on this. Something is contingent on this, what's going on down here. What you're doing, how you're dealing with all this crap that's going on underneath you, is up top. So getting into your hobbies, not stressing too much, letting the evaluations that need to happen, or if you have to sit there but you have to bite your tongue, you go and you show up every day at these contract negotiations, these union meetings, these PTA meetings, and you just sit there and you're like, oh my God, this is such a freaking circus. This is terrible. I want to say something. I want to speak out, but if I say something then, and so you're just like, bite your tongue, you're like, it'll all come out in the end, I'm okay. And you're just sitting there and you're waiting for whatever needs to happen. Now, in the meantime, you're focused on other things that make you happy, other ways to brighten your day. It is winter, so some of you might, be kind of, well, I guess if you're in the southern hemisphere, you might, what are you guys? You guys are in summer, right? So you guys might be soaking it up if you're down in Australia or South Africa or somewhere down there. So yeah, I'm talking about it. I'm not even picking it up. I'm sorry. One second. I apologize. I hate to cough on camera, but they're not the crazy coughs I was having when I was sick, so I'm going to let them fly, and I apologize. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Anyway, Sun card. Secondary card of Leo, so there might be a Leo in your life of significance, but it does not have to be. And this is like basically finding joy in everyday things, finding joy where you can, like not shying away from the sun, not shying away from moments to, treat yourself or find something to smile about. If this situation, contract negotiations, deciding funding for whatever project or grant money, whatever you're doing, or whatever's going on around you, stressful, anxiety ridden for a few of you, right? So to combat that, you are consciously looking for the bright side. So painting, jogging, meditating, sleeping in, drinking more, not drinking like in an alcoholic type way, but okay, I'm going to have a glass of wine today because I deserve it. That meeting lasted 4 hours. I deserve this Merlot. I deserve it, and really, like, I'm getting someone like doing, not like a tasting and wine testing, not a tasting from wine tasting, but I'm getting like someone, like, those like food commercials. I don't even know if they make commercials like this anymore, but I'm seeing like, thank you. They gave me like one I think everybody can relate to, like a coffee commercial. Like back in the 90s or the 80s, you would see the person reach into the cupboard, pull out, whatever BS pre-ground coffee they have, and they brew it, and then they do the slow pour, that slow-mo pour into the mug. The steam rises off of the coffee. The person inhales the cup, and then they drink it, and it's like melodic music. The announcer talks like this: when you take a sip of this coffee, your life will never be the same. Like, hyperbolic. It's a freaking cup of coffee. But this person in that commercial and the ad team at said company was like, you know what, guys? We're going to make this look like the most banging cup of coffee ever, and we're going to see units fly off the shelves. So you could literally be doing that. You're brewing coffee, you're drinking the Merlot, you're eating a damn ham sandwich. I don't know what you're doing, but you're just like, yes, this is it. This is the definition of a best life. See my entry on Wikipedia. You're like, I'm going to get an SEO and I'm going to put it at the top of Google search. How to live your best life. A picture of Pisces eating a ham sandwich. That's how you do it. That's a long way just to talk about appreciating the small things and finding joy in them, finding contentment, finding solace in it. If you are stressed, if you are someone who is feeling high anxiety, feeling high worry about this situation, you are actively, I feel it, like some of you are like actively, like literally expending your energy in such a way with activities and hobbies and things like that. Others of you, you're doing it very calmly and, like I said, meditating, maybe some prayer, maybe reading books, things like that. Others of you are drinking the shit out of those cups of coffee. And you're just like, this is amazing. I've never had coffee like this. It's Folgers, honey. What are you talking about? And that's good for you. You need that. I'm happy to see that right next to you. Absolutely happy. That's for those who are doing it the other way. Others of you are taking this time. Again, it's like an intermission. It's not a long time. Like, it feels like a long time, maybe for some of you, but in the long, grand scheme of things, it's really not a long time. But others of you might be approaching it with the Hermit card or the energy of the Hermit card. 1 second, hold on. I do have to pause this. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so Virgo, card of Virgo is associated with the Hermit card. And again, Virgos don't have to be prominent in your life. They can be, but they don't have to be. Or any of the other signs that I've mentioned could have prominent placement in your chart, and that's why they're kind of here to resonate with you. But the Hermit calls for, in these moments in life, not even like a quiet moment necessarily, but just these dedicated portions of life where we go and we do some self-reflection, we do some self-care, we take inventory of what's going on inside of our lives, what's going on in the deep, where we bury things or we throw things away, like, not so great memories usually get stashed away, and the Hermit goes and fetches those and is like, hey, look what I found. Remember this, jarring experience from 8th grade? Here, let's think about that. Let's talk about that. And your conscious mind is like, what the hell are you doing, Hermit? Why? And it's normally because the Hermit aims to heal those wounds or heal those memories or heal those places we spend a lot of time, or we don't spend enough time thinking of, and not thinking of, but recognizing the subconscious impact of them. So it can be good memories, it doesn't have to be bad stuff. It usually is, but it doesn't have to be bad stuff. It can be good things. You could have a very joyous, I can't talk today, you know what I'm saying, childhood full of love and affection and birthday parties and lovely, family vacations. You had great friends, you had like a little tree house and all this stuff. You look back fondly on your childhood, and that can become this thing that gets lodged and submerged in your subconscious that actually hinders you in your adult life, where your expectations might often not mesh with reality. Because if you're so conditioned to, in a way, expect joy and happiness and all that kind of stuff, you know what I mean? Like, there is such a thing as too much of a good thing, basically. Because reality will just come along and smack you in the face. Especially if this situation here is like nothing you've ever seen before. There is, for some of you, like, this is the first time you've seen a discrepancy or a negotiation, or, maybe you have been a successful artist for a long time, but this is the first time you've kind of come up against like a barrier of sorts, and you're not able to get to the other side. You're not able to just get the contract, or you're not able to make the sale, or you're not able to get the commission. So you're just like, wait a minute, my track record is proven. I'm a responsible, like, you could be in the music industry. I'm an accomplished producer. I've worked with these artists. I have these accolades. I have these accomplishments and these awards. And then someone's like sending you back your contract and saying, I don't know about this. I don't know about these terms, or I'm not sure that you could do what I want you to do. And you're like, don't you see what I've done for the past 20 years in my career? And so you're kind of like, your ego, for a few of you, is bruised. Your ego is affected. If we're talking about Leo, secondary Leo card here, that's Leo rules the ego, right? It has a heavy association with ego. So some of you might have to reconcile your ego and why you expect at every turn to be given a yes. Why you expect at every time that you go to work with a new artist, you go to record some new material, that you're just going to be given a green light to go into the studio, or you're just going to be given a green light with your whatever you expect in your payment. You know, someone's pushing back on you and saying, nope, don't think so. We're going to have to discuss this further. And you're like, but I'm amazing. And you might be very well amazing, Pisces. You know, you might be within your right to feel like it's a no-brainer. You should hire me, or I should be able to work on this thing because look at what I've done in my past. But that would challenge some of you to be rebuked, to be rebuffed, to be rejected. Yeah? In other cases, it's more of the shit. You know, going down in that basement, going down into the dirt and picking up like a big ball of poop. And it's like, look what I found. The death of our great Aunt Jane. Oh no, we hated that. That left us depressed for 5 years. I don't mean to be mocking or condescending in that tone, but that's what the hermit does. He goes and he picks up things indiscriminately. He doesn't care what it is. He's like, let's look at this. Let's think about that. Let's review how we felt when this happened to us. Ooh, isn't this fun? He's kind of a sadist in that way. Not like exclusively sadistic, but he just gives no shits. He doesn't care about what we're exploring and what we're finding out about ourselves, what we're, you know, pulling up from the depths. It just has to be done. That's all he knows. He has an energy, the hermit, and I'm saying he. You don't have to be a he, obviously, to relate to this. But he is in the business of exploration of the self in order to heal and grow. Okay? Or, in some cases, just to have a realization, like a little aha moment, which allows you to know, oh, I don't need to think about this again, because now I realize the impact of this is very minimal. I blew it up in my mind. My subconscious was really holding onto this thing, but actually we don't need it. So we can just pass on that. He's like a trash man, you know, like, and they showed me, Fred Sanford from Sanford and Son, the character Fred Sanford, played by Red Fox. If you guys know that, old TV series, they're kind of showing me that, where basically he was a garbage man, right? He lived in what do you call those places? What do you call them? I can't think of it. But basically, he lived in the house that was full of trash. And he was a purveyor of that stuff. I think, like, a junkyard. That's it, a junkyard. Thank you. And I think, like, that was part of his business, was, like, selling junk, wasn't it? I think that was it. I didn't watch it a lot as a kid, but I know of it. And, one second. But yeah, so with Fred Sanford on that show, he lived amongst trash, but he was the king of that castle. Undoubtedly, he was the king. So that's what the hermit is, the king of the trash pile, the king of the junkyard, okay? I'm in the business of going through your bullshit and helping you decide what stuff you need to leave behind and what stuff you need to work on, and then leave behind at a later date. You know what I mean? Perspective. He gives you, like, a different perspective, or he highlights things that need to be addressed, and you're like, oh, man. Thanks, hermit. Thanks, Fred. And he's like, yeah, no problem. I'm coming, Elizabeth. I'm so stupid. Anyway, your outcome for January, the twofer that you got. Interesting. Magician and the Four of Wands. So a little bit of fire energy here. with the Magician coming in, or excuse me, the Four of Wands coming in, and maybe a little bit with the Magician if you follow the sentiment that the Magician can sometimes be attributed to Aries. So maybe. But changing it up. Well, definitely the Magician is action oriented, and he might fall back to this anticipation point that you have with the Three of Cups, because the Magician is an alchemist, he's a creator, he is someone who uses the tools that he has at his disposal to get the job done, to make his visions come to light. So again, I'm getting for some of you, not all, where your work is embedded in something that is creative. Music, art, dance, maybe fashion, whatever. So once this settles out, for the good, for the bad, whatever, however this shakes out for you, it's going to be go time thereafter for you. You're either going to move on to a new project, you're going to go back to work where, you know, you're used to working every day, Monday to Friday. You're going to, you know, be told you've been given the grant, so you can, you know, charge forward with whatever you're working on. 1 second. All right, so I guess I didn't talk enough today because I'm having a little bit of a coughing fit here towards the end. Anyway, so going forward with the plans that come out of the negotiation, come out of the contract, revisal, whatever it is, yeah? And the Magician is very good at setting into new stuff. He might struggle to put things to bed, but he's certainly very good at getting the initial steps done and laying down the foundations and kind of, you know, putting up those first few planks of wood if we're thinking of something like building a house or building something, some type of structure. Like, he's very good. Like, basically, he could build a house, but he couldn't furnish it, you know? Or he might not be as interested in furnishing it or painting it, you know? And he might not be interested if he's doing it like a flipping properties kind of thing. He might not even be interested in selling it. Like, he might be like, look, I'll do the work, you sell. I don't want to do any of that. So he's definitely capable, but he's most accomplished at those initial stages. And so for some of you, that might be, you may have been waiting to know what project you're working on. Maybe you work in a, you know, your job is to maybe oversee, maybe you're a project leader, but you just haven't been given anything to lead. You haven't been told where you're going next. Maybe some of you are missionaries of a sort, you know what I mean? Or public speakers that, you know, like leaders, like I'm getting like trainers, corporate trainers, fitness trainers, maybe public speaking in terms of like, you know, life coaches, some of you might be, and you just don't have your assignment. Give me my assignment so I can go do my magic. Give me my assignment so I can go build my client base. You know, you're just waiting. Give it to me. When you get it, you're going to go. All right? It concerns the Four of Wands, or the Four of Wands is what you're building, or the Four of Wands is sort of in the back of your mind, which is maybe what some of you are feeling like a little bit anxious about. Four of Wands talks about your home life, your stability, your foundations, the things in the place that you call home, or what makes you feel as though you're at home, or that you have a home on which to call. Whether that means the people you live with, maybe that means the actual physical building that you go home to every day, or maybe even you feel your workplace is sort of a home. You know what I mean? So you consider your coworkers or the people that you consult with are members of your extended family. So there's a tenderness here behind your very accomplished, very meticulous, very well-planned and executed energy of the Magician. It's like, I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready for this. I'm going to continue to build my base. I'm going to continue to take care of my home, to take care of my family, to take care of my friends, whatever it is. My pets, if some of you don't have family, maybe your pets. You know, I see that a lot. I work this job so my dog can have the lifestyle he deserves, you know. So whatever your motivation is, it's very much from a heart-centered place. Like, if I'm actually getting like a little bit of a, not a rumble, but like a little ticky tick in my solar plexus area, like my gut area, you know. So it's very much a part of your extended identity, because your actual identity is more seated in your sacral chakra. Your solar plexus is more about how you project out towards the rest of the world. And often we wrap our familial identities into that. You know, I come to work every day so I can put my kids through college. You might say that with a little bit of bitterness in your mouth or in your speech, but honestly, your kids are the center of your life. Or I work this job so my wife doesn't have to. Some of you want to be the caretaker for those who depend on you, and you want to do well by them. You want to see them prosper. And your job, whether it's based purely on money or you know, how you impact the world, means a lot. Like your ability to produce something, to sort of prove your worth in some cases, because the magician is about that. He has a tinge of ego. He has a tinge of, I want to show the world that I can create whatever I want, and I can make these things happen, and I can do what I set out to do. He's very much into like showing people up and making people look, not a fool, but kind of be like, oh, I didn't expect that from you, Mr. Magician. He's like, yeah, of course you didn't. You didn't believe in me. I believed in myself. 1 second. We are almost done, so I'm not going to continue to cough. It's going to be great. All right, guys. So, yeah, I like that for you guys. It's a pending energy. It's not the best, like, for those who are a little anxious, but overall, I think you're going to fare okay. I think the biggest here is this person. Oh, your overall energy. I'm, like, getting ready to wrap things up. I'm sorry. Your overall energy is the Chariot. So, wow. The last thing I mentioned was Mr. and Mrs. Poo-Poo over here, right? And then I picked this up. Aquarius had this. So the meaning and the feeling is very fresh. Let me go ahead and make sure that that is also for you. Yep, thank you. You guys are so quick today. Not you, Pisces, but them. Those that help me in these readings. Conflict, overcoming two different sides to an issue, trying to make two different positions or two different perspectives come together as one and function and move forward, progress, get off the ground, whatever it is. So this is, again, talking about those contract negotiations, talking about the evaluation period. Maybe some of you are just like having like, you're waiting for your annual review and your boss is like dragging their feet. And they're out there giving speeches and, you know, you guys are having luncheons and doing all this social, you know, team building BS. And you're just like, but I want my review so that I can know what my bonus is going to be, what kind of increase to my salary I'm going to expect. Like, you're just like, you're messing with my money here, Tom, you know, or you know, Manuel or whoever your boss is, Lisa. I don't care who it is. I like to cover my bases. But yeah, it's just having a bit of a tough time making two people or two sides of an issue come together for either the greater good or just to get to a common goal. Because that's the thing. Well, not even a common goal. The chariot driver, the guy doing those acrobatic sort of stunts on the backs of these horses, that's the person who's setting the agenda, the person who knows which path to travel, who wants to go left, right, straight, wherever. The horses are the means or they are the carriers of that journey yeah, it's like he knows where he wants it to go, straight ahead. Horse on the left wants to go left, horse on the right wants to go right. And they're like kind of doing this, splitting off, going into their own separate directions. And the driver has to be like, no, I need you guys to do this because we want to go straight. So it could be that where some of you might be, I'm saying a lot of this has been like a two-side thing. Or like I said, maybe you're on the sideline and you're watching two other people fight it out, but you're like, maybe you're like the union rep, maybe, here. And you want to say things, but you can't say too much because you have to protect your union members, and you're watching whoever is a part of the company kind of duke it out, and you're just like, this is not getting us anywhere. I'm here to represent the union members, and I need this to happen because blah, 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 blah. So it's kind of like you would be the chariot driver, and your bosses and, you know, not benefactors, but corporate leaders and stuff like that are basically like butting heads. And it's just like, look, this is counterproductive. We're supposed to be here talking about a contract for the workers. You guys are over here bitching about something that has nothing to do with any of that. Like, off topic, totally off topic. So overall, this is just pointing back to basically these 4 cards, less about what's going on with you personally. And it's just showing that it's going to be a bit of a mess, or it has been a bit of a mess. I feel still this is not going to last very long. Maybe it'll bleed into February a little bit, but I can't imagine it's going to go on for much longer if you've been on this, you know, evaluation, break time, intermission thing, you know. Anything else? No. Then that's it, man. Pisces, that's your January reading. Did you like it? If so, you know what to do. There's a like button down there. I would appreciate a click on the like button if something here resonated with you. Also down there, you're going to find this share button. You can share this across your social media, across Facebook and Twitter and all those fun things. If you've got a YouTube channel, share it. Shout me out. Do whatever. I don't care. Also, you're going to see the comment section if you want to tell me how the readings resonated with you, what you really responded to, what really, you know, ding the bell for you. I would appreciate it. I would love to hear it. I would love to read about it. Also down there is the subscribe button. Now, if you're not subscribed and you keep coming back to me, you've been rocking with me, maybe even since the beginning, since April last year. Oh my gosh, but you've never subscribed? Why? Why not? Come on. I'd say that in jest. If you're not a person that wants to fill your YouTube subscription or your account, rather, with a bunch of subscriptions and you don't want to be notified of anything, I totally understand, even though you can just set your settings to not allow that to happen, but I get it. If you don't want to subscribe, cool. But if you've been here for a while and you're just like, I could give her a subscription, that would be great. I would appreciate it. Alright guys, I will be back very soon. Maybe after all this is done for you guys, by the time I come back to you, with your February 2019 readings. I thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye.